Okay, of course, last night the President gave his State of the Union address. We have ACC history professor Dr. David Lauterbach joining us now, as he does from time to time, with some analysis on the speech and the response. A lot to get to in a short amount of time, so we'll dive right in. I'll just first ask your thoughts on the address I sent. Was it about what you expected?
You mean the launch of the Donald Trump re-election campaign? Yes, that's exactly what we saw. Donald Trump knows how to work an audience, and he's very good at speaking to his base. He says what he wants in ways that he believes his folks will appeal to them. And he does something that all American politicians, when they're running for office, should do. He says, I'm going to protect you against foreign enemies. I'm going to protect the economy. I'm going to protect you and your health care. That's what works when you run campaigns. Democrats in the last 30 or 40 years, with the exception of Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, seem to have forgotten that particular lesson. He knows how to appeal to his base.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. It seems to have been a very good night for the president, or a good couple days on the heels of some struggles with the Democrats as they start off 2020 in Iowa. Approval numbers very high for the president. Obviously, economic numbers are good. And then he's able to give this address again last night.
He took advantage of a time when he had all of the TV cameras on him, when the people who are going to get their news from something like the State of the Union are going to be watching. He's not going to have that kind of TV coverage until the end of the convention later in the year. So he took advantage of that time. But I'll be honest with you, as I was watching his speech, and I can't remember, and I've been talking to people around the country on this, have you ever seen a State of the Union address that was a campaign speech, that launched a campaign? And their answer was no. And I couldn't help but think of January 6, 1941, when Franklin Roosevelt gave his Four Freedoms speech, as he was trying to bring the country together, a very divided nation together, against the threat of the slaughter and terrorism of the Empire of Japan and of Nazi Germany. And he focused on freedom from fear, freedom from want, freedom of speech, freedom of worship. His plan was to bring America together. Donald Trump was focused on, I want to get reelected.
Well, it was such a different atmosphere, too, with the one... he couldn't get a sentence out with one side cheering, with the other side, most women all dressed in white. Obviously, the handshake snub at the beginning, and Speaker Pelosi ripping up the text at the end.
Good theater.
It was so... We know it's polarized politically in this country. It has been for a long time. But this seemed next level on both sides a little bit.
It was, but it's nothing that we haven't been listening to or watching on Twitter or social media for years. It's nothing that we didn't see in the president's speech after he took out Qasem Soleimani, where he stayed disciplined in focusing on what he needed to say and then turned it into a campaign speech. You and I were talking prior. Would the president talk about impeachment? Would he allow himself to get angry and voice that anger? No, he stayed disciplined. He stayed focused on his campaign speech, and in that way, he really focused on appealing to his base.
Yeah, and like I said, 2020 well underway. The Democrats on to New Hampshire now. I'm sure we'll be chatting with you as the year goes on.
Give me a call.
Dr. David Lauterbach from ACC. We appreciate it.
Take care.
We'll be right back.